The question of whether Moses wrote the Torah is one that has been debated for centuries. The traditional, rather forced, rabbinical explanation is that Moses faithfully wrote everything God told him, including the news of his own death. They say, well, he didn't write that particular part, with answers varying depending on whether one takes a traditional religious perspective or a modern scholarly view. In Jewish and Christian traditions, Moses is widely regarded as the author of the Torah. This belief stems from the text itself, which includes passages describing Moses writing down God's laws and teachings. For example, 1. Exodus 24-4. Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. 2. Deuteronomy 31:9. So Moses wrote this law and gave it to the priests. According to this view, Moses acted under divine inspiration, recording both the laws given to him by God and the history of the Israelites. This attribution has been a foundational belief in these religious traditions for millennia. Modern biblical scholarship, however, offers a more complex picture. Many scholars argue that the Torah was not written by a single author, but was instead compiled from multiple sources over time. The most well-known theory supporting this idea is the documentary hypothesis, which suggests that the Torah was formed from 4 main sources. 1. J. Yahwist uses Yahweh as God's name and has a narrative style with vivid, human-like depictions of God. 2. E. Elohist uses Elohim for God and focuses on prophetic themes. 3. P. Priestley emphasizes rituals, laws, and genealogies. 4. D. Deuteronomist centers on covenant and law, especially in Deuteronomy. These sources are thought to have been written by different authors or groups at different times, eventually being woven together into the Torah we know today. Scholars suggest that the Torah likely reached its final form centuries after Moses' time, possibly during or after the Babylonian exile, 6th century BCE. While Moses is a central figure in the Torah, leading the Israelites out of Egypt and receiving the law at Mount Sinai, his role as the sole author is questioned. Some scholars propose that Moses may have contributed early material such as laws or poetic sections, or that traditions about him served as the foundation for the text. However, much of the content likely originated as oral tradition, passed down and recorded later by others. And so, did Moses write the Torah? From a traditional perspective, yes, Moses is considered the author under divine guidance. From a scholarly perspective, the Torah is seen as a composite work, compiled from multiple sources long after Moses' time, making it unlikely that he wrote it in its entirety. The answer depends on which lens, faith, or historical analysis you choose to view the question through. There is no definitive proof either way, leaving it a matter of belief and interpretation. The historical existence of Moses is a topic that has sparked considerable debate among scholars, historians, and theologians for years. While religious texts, like the Bible, do portray Moses as a pivotal figure who led the Israelites out of Egypt and received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, archaeological and historical evidence of his existence remains inconclusive. Some researchers argue that Moses may have been a symbolic or legendary figure rather than a historical one, possibly representing an amalgamation of several leaders or stories. Others maintain that the absence of concrete evidence doesn't disprove his existence, pointing out that ancient history often relies on oral traditions and sparse records. Ultimately, whether Moses existed as described in religious narratives depends on one's perspective, faith or not. A more likely explanation is that Moses didn't actually write down any of it. The fact appears Moses never existed.